We are preparing for the chemical reaction, but before the chemical reaction we must have a little idea about the basic chemistry. In previous class also I told you about element, compound, atoms and molecules, but we are talking today about the symbol, molecular formula, radical, ion and valency. And these points, when we understand all these points, then we'll be able to write the molecular formula and chemical reaction also. Okay, let's start with symbol first. What is symbol? What is symbol? Symbol is the abbreviation for the full name of an element. Full name of an element, just for example, hydrogen. This is an element. The full name of the element is hydrogen, and its abbreviation H is used as a symbol. In the same way, another one, just for example, CHLORINE, chlorine. Its abbreviation is what? Its abbreviation is Cl. And in the same way, there are symbol for each and every element is given, and this abbreviation for the full name of the element is symbol. Now let's talk about another one, molecular formula. Okay, what is molecular formula? In previous class also I told you about molecule, but we are talking about molecular formula. Symbol is related with element, and this molecular formula is related with the molecule of element and compound. Group of two or more than two atoms. What is it? Group of two or more than two atoms which represents a molecule is called molecular formula. This is group of atom, group of atom, that may be two or more than two atoms which represents a molecule is called molecular formula. For example, molecular formula of water is H2O. Water is a compound which is represented by S2 as molecular formula. And we can take other also. Just for example, carbon dioxide, its molecular formula is CO2. These are the compounds. And ammonia, its molecular formula is NH3. But we have molecular formula of some elements also. Molecular formula of oxygen is O2. Molecular formula of nitrogen is N2. Molecular formula of chlorine is Cl2. And what we have to remember, group of two or more than two atoms. Here, look at this. Here we have two atoms, and here also two atoms, here also two atoms. We can write another one also, just for example, CaCO3. This is the molecular formula of calcium carbonate. Here 1 2 3, not only two, more than two atoms, calcium, carbon and oxygen are involved. This way we can conclude that group of two or more than two atoms which represents a molecule is called molecular formula. Okay, now after this let's talk about valency. Let's talk about valency. No, first symbol, molecular formula, radical. Let's talk about radical. What is it? What is radical? How can we define radical? The group of two or more than two atoms of elements which behaves as a single unit. Group of what? Group of two or more than two. Group of two or more than two atoms of element. Atoms of elements which behaves as a single unit. It behaves as what? Single unit in the chemical reaction. It behaves as what? Single unit in the chemical reaction is called radical. What is it? Now we are going to take example. Just for example, sulfate is it is represented by SO4. Its formula is what? SO4. In the same way, nitrate, its formula is NO3. In the same way, there are other also. Just for example, hydroxide. With now these are group of atoms. They appears as compound. Looking at this, someone may be confused about this. Sulfur and oxygen is combined, that's why it may be a compound. No, it's not a compound. It is a radical. In the same way, nitrogen and oxygen are combined, but they do not have free existence like the compound. That's why they are not compound. All the compounds have free existence, but radicals do not have free existence. That's why they are not compound. They behave as a single unit in the chemical reaction. Whenever chemical reaction occurs, they act as a single unit like an element, and that's why this is the definition of radical. Now another one, ion. What is ion? How to define ion? What is ion? Ion is somewhat similar to radical, but exactly not radical. A charged atom or group of atom. A charged atom or charged group of atom is called what? Ion. Just for example, how can we give example? The same sulfate, if we write SO4, then it represents a radical. But if the same sulfate is written SO4 minus minus, it means it has two excess of electrons. This is sulfate ion. In the same way, we have chloride ion also. Chlorine, if chlorine is written like this, it means this is not an atom. One electron is more in its atom than that of the proton, and this is chloride ion. In the same way, sodium atom. This is sodium atom, but if we write this so Na plus, this is sodium ion. And ion may be negatively charged or it may be positively charged. An ion may be of element also forms ion, and radical also forms ion. Look at this. These are the ions formed by the element, and this is the ion formed by the radical. In the same way, there are other also. Nitrate ion, NO3, it is negatively charged ion. One electron is excess. This way, ion can be understood. Now let's talk about valency. What is valency? Let's talk about valency. What is valency? The combining capacity of an element or radical is called valency of that element or radical. What it means? Whenever element combining capacity, this is just combining capacity. We have to remember these keywords. Combining capacity of elements or radical is called valency of those elements or radical. Now, what is the meaning exactly? When element combines with another element, then they combine in a certain ratio or certain proportion. In the same way, element can combine with radical also. They combine in a definite proportion. Definite number of atoms of element combines with definite number of radicals. This way, combining capacity is valency, but it is determined by certain method, just number of hydrogen. Just for example, if we have to find out the valency of calcium or magnesium or something, then how do we declare valency of these elements? The number of hydrogen atoms which combines with single atom of an element is declared as valency. Valency is declared with the help of number of hydrogen atoms. Hydrogen atoms which combines with one atom of an element. Now we can take example, just for example, when hydrogen combines with chlorine, then what happens? One atom of hydrogen combines with one atom of chlorine. But when one atom of oxygen is combined with hydrogen, then it requires two atom of hydrogen. But one atom of nitrogen, if combines with hydrogen, then it requires three atoms of hydrogen. And carbon combines with four atoms of hydrogen. These elements, we have taken one atom of these elements and we combine these atoms with hydrogen atom. Some of the element combines with one atom of hydrogen, some element combines with two atom of hydrogen, and some three atom of hydrogen, some four atom. That's why the valency of chlorine is 1, because the single atom of chlorine combines with one atom of hydrogen. Valency of oxygen is how much? 2, because one atom of oxygen combines with two atom of hydrogen. In the same way, nitrogen is valency is 3 and carbon is valency is 4. That's why number of hydrogen atoms which combines with single atom of an element is declared as valency of that element. This way, we have to understand these terms: symbol, molecular formula, radical, ion, valency. In next class, I'll continue with this. In next class, we are going to remember some of valency of elements and valency of radicals, which will be helpful to write molecular formula of different compounds and will enter into chemical reaction. Okay, this much for today.